Hi everyone, Rhonda Robson with Rhonda's Tri-RRR-tistry, and today's video I'm going to show you what you need to get started with pouring, and just the basics, like bare-boned minimum basics, right? So I'm going to give you some options. Some of them are cheaper and less expensive, and I'm going to try to keep it as low cost as possible for you. So that way you can get on Amazon or go to Michael's website or Hobby Lobby. Well, I don't know if Hobby Lobby's even open. But anyway, somebody's website where you can get some materials that all you need is a small box, and it's not going to cost you a lot of money to get that. So let's get you down on my table. It's not a canvas today, but let's get you down on my table so I can show you the items that I think are my basic needs. And so let's get you started pouring. All right, let's get you down. Okay, everyone, so I've got you down and I've got on my table, and I took a picture of it so that you have that capability of seeing everything that I have on my table. So the things that I feel are the most important that people need in order to get started are, I'm gonna go in order from this side of my table to this side of my table. So everything that I feel that's on here is important and was important to me when I first got started. So first, I have empty containers that I actually put paint in, or I put my mixing mediums in. So I save these. I drink lots of tea. One of my necessities is to have my tea near me, and that's what's there. But I drink lots of it, and I hate the fact that I'm throwing these away or recycling these in the recycling bin. So I recycle them by utilizing them, by putting my paint, my excess paint in them. And then my larger containers, I also have tea ones too, but my larger containers, then I put my mediums in that I mix. So maybe it's Floetrol and water, or maybe it's glue and Floetrol, or maybe it's GAC and Floetrol and water, but whatever those are for the different paintings I'm doing, I utilize these. So I figure that's easy. You've already got those at home somewhere, shape or form, just start saving those. Okay, so, and let me just show you really fast. So see, this is my orange, this is one of my reds, metallic red that I have, and I label it, so I think that you need a marker as well. And then I've also got some Payne's Gray, which is one of my favorite grays, and that's over there. Okay, so then the next thing is to find something to mix your paints in. And so one, obviously we've seen cups, so you can get these in all different sizes. I have a couple of them that I've labeled how many ounces that I put in them, so I know approximately what that looks like when I know I need to cover a certain amount of canvas surface. I have these to help me with that. So you need cups, or if you want to, you can purchase things like this these Ziploc containers that has lids that you can mix in there, and then you can store. So let me just show you. Here's one, here's a yellow that I've stored, so I've got it for later. So not only did I mix it in there, but I was able to store it. So this is when I need smaller amounts. These are when I need larger amounts. So you can get these for fairly inexpensive, but again, you don't need these. That's just kind of an added boost. If you have a bunch of this type of stuff around, just utilize those, right? So when I talked about the cups and having the certain ounces, so I've got multiple different sizes of cups, because each canvas that you do needs a certain amount of liquid on it to cover it. And that calculation, take this down and I'll put this in the notes, is you take your canvas's length times width, and then you divide it by 28. So that's length times width divided by 28. So for example, this one right here that I just showed you is a 10 by 10 canvas. So I take 10 times 10 and I divide that by 28. That's how I get my calculations to be able to cover the canvas completely. Okay, so that is those. Then next you need obviously some paints. So here's the deal. You can go out and you can spend all kinds of money on paint, right? You can get purples and pinks and green blues and things like that, but you don't need to start with that. And the color wheel can help you with some of that too, and I'll show you how to utilize that too in one of these series. But you don't need all that paint. So what I recommend is getting only a few colors and then mixing the colors that you want. So if you don't have enough money to go out and spend on getting a bunch of different colors, then utilize mixing your colors. So here's the colors that I recommend, and I get all my paints at a discounted rate. So if Artist Loft's on sale, I get Artist Loft. If Master's Touch is on sale, I get Master's Touch. So you're gonna see I have an array of these. But one of the ones I think that you will need is black. So that is one color that I feel like you would need. White or titanium white would be another color. So you see this is Master's Touch. The next one is a magenta color, and it kind of goes against what we think about when we're talking about primary colors of yellow, red, and blue. But magenta is found in a lot of the colors when we were doing printing, and so that was a color that I utilized quite a bit as well. So some type of magenta, see that's Liquitex Basics, was on sale at Hobby or at Michael's, and so I got that one. Yellow is another one that you're gonna want. Red is another one that you're gonna want, so some type of a red color, and then a blue. So these are the colors that you need: red, blue, magenta, yellow, white, and black. That's it. You can make all of the colors on this color wheel with just those colors, okay? So that's all you need to get started. So don't go out and spending a ton of money getting a bunch of different color paints. I did that and I regret it because I got a bunch of paints that I haven't used yet. Okay, so that's paint. So the next thing that I want to talk about is your medium. So you don't want to just utilize paint and put it on there for pouring, right? We need it to be fluid. So in order to do that, we have to take the consistency from this thick paint down. So there are multiple different types of mediums that you can use, and one of the cheapest ones is water. Okay, now this is just for display purposes. I typically don't use distilled water. This is me for drinking, but I just did it for purposes to show you that all you need is water and paint, and you can do some of the things that we've been doing in a lot of the videos that you see. So water is an essential part of the medium, okay? So that's inexpensive. You can just get it out of your faucet, okay? The next one that I use a lot is called Floetrol. And depending on where you're at, whether you're in Australia or the United States or in Canada or the UK, you're gonna have a different type of Floetrol, okay? But this Floetrol just happens to be the one that I get at my Fleet Farm, Hobby Lobby, or not Hobby Lobby, sorry, Fleet Farm, Menards, Lowe's. I've even gotten it online at Amazon and things like that. So Floetrol is a nice one to help with your medium. Then if you want it a little bit thicker, you can get glue. Now this is accidental purchase. I thought this was glue all, but it wasn't. Oh, sorry, it was shiny. This is just white glue that I got, and I can't even remember where I got it from, but I think it was at one of the Menards or Lowe's or some type of a Home Depot type store. So, but this actually works really nicely to help thicken things up. So a lot of times I don't use glue when I'm using white because sometimes glue will yellow. I'm finding this one right here does not yellow and it doesn't crack. It's really nice. So I got lucky when I purchased this. So you could use this or the Floetrol or water, or you can use a mixture of all of them. Fairly inexpensive. This is like, for this whole thing, this is $15 US dollars, so that's not a lot of money. You can get a smaller one for less money if you need to start even a little bit more on budget. On a budget. So those are my mixing mediums. Then from there, we need to have a canvas, right? So There's multiple types of canvases out there. And so what I would recommend if you're starting, to start with the inexpensive ones that come in packages. And that's where these ones came from, these smaller ones. Let me get these off of here. The thing that's nice about these is that they are already ready to go. No gesso is needed to get started. Now, once you get started and you feel you want to add that extra step, you can. I have not. And I have had great results without using gesso. This already has most of the canvases that you get at Michael's or at Hobby Lobby or at Amazon. They already have gesso on there, so no need. It's already primed and ready to go. These are nice and thin and very lightweight, so easily to maneuver, right? Some of the thicker ones are a little harder to maneuver because of that. So they are stapled like this. They are not gallery wrapped where it goes up underneath and you don't see the staples, but that's okay when you get started, right? And if this size intimidates you, this bigger one, this is a 10 by 10, there's smaller ones, little teeny tiny ones. I got this at the dollar store, right? It's $1. So nice, inexpensive way to start. And then you can just start seeing how to do a ring pour or how to do a swipe. Those type of things are great when working with this. The other thing that you can utilize are cardboard paper, or I've just done this recently. If you have extra photo stock paper at home, that a pour can actually work well on that as well. And so I'm looking at doing a couple of mine because I got a bunch of photo paper and I no longer print photos very often. Most of my stuff is electronic, like a lot of ours are nowadays. So I'm going to be utilizing some of that. And then I did want to just show you what the difference is between a gallery wrapped canvas. This is one of those. So this is what I mean by you don't see the staples. It wraps up underneath it. It's thicker. It's 2 inches instead of a little less than an inch on the other ones. And it's the same thing. It's gessoed already, pre-primed. But these are more expensive, right? So there's no sense doing those if you're just starting out and starting with these. So you notice that I had some sticks on the canvas, and then also some push pins and this guy here. So when I first started, I started with these guys because that's all I had in my house. And then I realized that they were too, they didn't get my canvas off something very easily. So I ended up and I bought some of these larger ones, and I got them at, I think I got them at Hobby Lobby. So I got these at Hobby Lobby. And now I've gone to these ones, which I put push pins in here. So I utilize these still, and I push the push pins in, and it just gets my canvas up. But you don't need these. You don't even need these. You can just take this and take some cups that you have. I've got a bunch of these that I use, and you can just put, oh, a little sticky there. You can just put this like this, right? And pour this way and then dry that way. You don't even need the push pins. So just find a bunch of plastic cups, or maybe even some of these that you've used and dried out, turn them upside down, and they become your platform. Notice that I have sticks. There's multiple different types and sizes of sticks. I just go and buy the cheapest one I can find. These ones I only use when I'm doing a little bit, like the paint that I'm using in here. And the bigger ones I definitely use when I'm using a bigger glass. So those don't cost very much either. If you have plastic spoons, or if you want to use old silverware and wash it, or let it dry and then peel the paint off and throw the paint away so it doesn't go down the drain, you can do that as well. So see, you don't even need sticks to be able to stir your paint. Okay, so let me put this off to the side. Okay, so then to keep things clean, you do want some gloves, or you don't have to, you can wash your hands off, but then that gets paint down the drain. And then I reutilize these a number of times, especially now with COVID. Gloves are kind of hard to find, so I just let them dry and then I reuse them. Or if I need them right away, then I do wash them in some paint or dry them off with a paper towel or something like that. So, you do need some gloves, or you can wash your hands off. I talked about paper towels. I always have a little bit of paper towels or napkins or something to help me wipe things off with as I go as well. So the surface of your paintings and where you're painting, you want it to stay clean as well. So I started out using wax paper because this is what I had in my home, right? So I just started using wax paper, and I can't, this is brand new, so I can't get the fun. There we go. So I used wax paper because that's what I had. And the cool thing is the paint would stay on top of it, and then it could dry that way, or I could scrape it and put it in a cup because I reutilize the excess paint all the time. Sometimes this background paint gets mixed up. I've also created some pretty cool art just taking it, scraping it, putting it in a cup, and then re-pouring it out. So, but I used that for the longest time. And then when I saw Julie Kutz's videos, she uses these puppy pads, and I was going to the store to get my dog some food, and I just happened to get the puppy pads. And I reuse these too. Now this one happens to be a brand new one. I get the large one, so I can do large canvases. I do a lot of large canvases for myself. But I like the puppy pads because I can reuse them over and over again. And I can also, the same thing that I do here, where I can scrape it and put it in a cup. And it doesn't go very far. So that's how I keep things clean. And then you see that I have a granite top here. My mother was in the business for a long time when she was alive. She had two businesses, Monument Company, and then she also had a granite business for countertops. And this just happens to be a granite piece that I inherited from her, that I put on top of an old desk type thing that I don't like, but I use the drawers. And then I utilize this. I don't know, it's hard to see it, but it's a utility, oh shoot, what do they call that? Like it goes under refrigerators to catch leaks, or underneath dishwashers, those portable dishwashers, or underneath a washing machine. So as you can see, I utilize it quite a bit. I put the puppy pad, or I put the wax paper on it, and then I pour, and it saves me from things dripping off to the side, because I'm in an area that's a common area in my home, and so that helps me. And that cost me, I think it was $20 to get that, but it was well worth it because it saved my carpet. The other thing that saves my carpet is these squares. This one actually is a pretty clean one. There's only a few dots here, but I put these all around my surface, and then I pick them up every day. So when I paint, I put these down, and then when I put things away at the end of my painting, and I've stored my canvases for drying, I have these around. Now, you don't need these, right? But this is saving me a ton of money for my carpet not to have paint on it. And it also saves my back because it's nice and thick, and I stand while I paint. So the next thing, past canvases and, So the next thing that I want to talk about is documenting what you're doing. So I have my phone cover here because I'm utilizing my phone right now to videotape this, and then I have my book. So this right here is from the start that I started, the ideas that I have, the mixtures that I received when I did them, what my trials, my ideas, my thoughts. They're all in here. And so I recommend getting a book to help you keep your thoughts clear and remember how you did something, because even though you think you're gonna remember, you don't. I'm just gonna tell you, I can't believe how many times I've forgotten something that I did just a week ago. So not only do I document, so this is my book, here's my current one right now that I'm putting in here. And in fact, the video ideas came to me today, and I just started jotting down all the ideas that I'd like to do during this time of COVID and these special series, and so that's in there. And then I have this here because I want, not only should you document here, this was one of my last ones that I just did, but you should take pictures. So take pictures of the paints that you do. So set your paints up, right? Just set them up and take a picture so you know what colors you use, because you may go, oh my goodness, I love this color scheme, I want to redo that again. I can't remember what colors I used. So make sure you're documenting that as well, right? And so with photos, with videos, with writing things down too. My videos in my YouTube channel came to be just because I was videotaping myself, and I thought, if I'm videotaping myself and I'm appreciating what I'm doing, maybe somebody else would too. And so that's what got me started. So the next thing is to protect your clothes. So I know that this is a lot of stuff. I'm just trying to tell you just kind of the steps that I did and that I feel you might want to consider. You want to protect your clothes. So either you wear the same clothes, which I do all the time. I don't know, you'll see I have a purple shirt on almost all the time, or a black shirt. And then I also have an apron that I utilize all the time. So that's something to consider as well. There's two more things that I want to talk about. Let's get into varnishing, and then I want to talk about the tools I use and I think that are important for you to have when you first start. So to varnish or not to varnish, that is the question. I don't varnish everything, I'll be honest with you. I don't see the need for all of them. Some of them I do. So I have a couple varnishes that I've used. This one I have painted on. I didn't like painting it on, so I have stopped painting, and I just kind of do it as like, I pour it in a puddle and I go like that. But here's a varnish. This is expensive. This is expensive. So do you need to varnish? I don't know if you need to varnish or not. It just depends. Don't start varnishing. Wait until you maybe have sold a painting, and then you can varnish that one. Just an idea. Anyway, so to varnish or not to varnish, that is the question. I probably varnish maybe 20% of my paintings. Okay, now the tools. So you've got some paint, you've got some medium, you've got things to store in, you've got things for protection, you've got a canvas, you've got a ways to lift your canvas up and to keep things clean. And so now to create. So there are a few tools that I think that are kind of important to have, and one of those is a torch. This is a teeny tiny torch I got for 10 bucks at Bed Bath & Beyond. I'm sure you can get them anywhere, Amazon or whatever, but it is a butane torch, and it's pretty simple, you know. I just turn it on. You don't need anything fancy. You just need some heat to get the air bubbles up or to help activate your cells. I bought a set of very inexpensive brushes. I think there's 3 sizes of this. These help me to spread the paint to get the sides as well. So I just bought a couple very inexpensive, and I wash them all the time. Whoops. Personally, I have to have my glasses. I have a set of glasses that I keep near me because I am a little older, and I'm both far and nearsighted, and I just need to see details sometimes. And so I have a pair that I keep with me in the area that I can get paint on, right? And actually I've gone through 2 because my last ones are, here, I'll show you. They got paint paint all over them. I don't know if you can see that, but anyway, so they got paint all over them. A straw, if you like to blow, excuse me, if you like to do some Dutch pour or blow things, this just happens to be a straw from McDonald's. Maybe not McDonald's, but maybe it was Panera Bread or something. Anyway, it was just a straw I used and I rinsed it out and I've been using it ever since. I have a pair of scissors to cut my paint, so when I need to get to the last drop, I cut it here and I scrape everything out, so that way I can get the best use of my money. And I use a painter's spatula, if you will, for swipes. I have a couple different sizes of this. You only need one, just get one for now. And then I used to use tweezers a lot, and I still will use them from time to time, but I have thrown away so many pairs of these tweezers that I'll use actually my smaller one of these, and I'll just get whatever it is out with this. And if I need a pair of tweezers, I do have a pair of tweezers. And then I just have a cup that I have everything put in so that it kind of keeps things tidy and off to the side. Now the last thing that you could use that you don't have to have, but it is important, is a level. And the reason why it's important is because with fluid art, we know that if our canvas is unlevel, what you just created will then go off. And so it is kind of important, I believe, to have some type of a level. So maybe you've got one hanging around home. Maybe you've got one of those little small torpedo ones, whatever works for you. I actually had a small torpedo one. I can't find it right now, but I had that one, and that's what I used for a long period of time. Let's see if I can find it. Nope. So anyway, I used that for a long period of time until I was able to go out and buy myself a bigger one. And I've got two of these. I've got a small one like this for my small canvases, and then I've got a large one. So honestly, I think that's all you really need are those simple things. You just need some paint, you need some medium, you need a few tools, a few pieces of canvas, and if you can't have canvas, you know, maybe you have some photo paper laying around. You need something to protect yourself and your area out. I do utilize drop cloths, but not very often because I get too messy then, and so I'll do that for really, really large paintings, but I get so messy and then I'll step it and then I'll step off of it. So I'd rather keep my area fairly clean and not have to worry about if I'm stepping on a bunch of paint. So and if I do have large canvases, another thing I utilize a lid to a plastic tub for my hold on. So one last thing that I utilize that I wanted to show you is I utilize these lids as a place where I can put this underneath if I've got a large canvas and it can drip on. So as you can see, I just peel off the paint once it's dry, and then I just, you know, get rid of that. I think a lot of people utilize it for skins. I haven't gotten there yet. But anyway, another idea that you can use that doesn't cost you hardly anything. You might have something like that laying around the house. So the whole idea for today's video is just take some basic things and get started. You don't need a lot, just a few things, and you can start doing fluid art. So we're all in this together. COVID-19 has embraced this entire world and has flipped us upside down. But together, we will be able to get through this. Good luck, stay safe, and stay healthy. Talk to you later. Bye for now.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and comment down below. Tell me what you liked about this, what you'd like to see in the future, and then of course don't forget to click the notification bell so that way you can get notifications when I get a new video up. Thanks everyone. Have a great day.